Fallout 76 sucks. It is a dead game. And Bethesda is wrong forever putting that crap out.
I don't get it. You make movies about a suck-ass storyline in a total shit game. Why? Your channel sucks, bro.
Didn't know people still played Fallout 76. Too many bugs and glitches for me.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest.
Freddy wanted to expand his trade network, so he headed up the road to the pit stop. Graham had told him and Gramps about an epic battle that took place here. Middle Mountain Cabins was a privately owned retreat for hunters before the Great War. It was renovated and renamed by the Blue Ridge Caravan Company. The Blue Ridge Caravan Company, seeking to expand its operations in Appalachia, moved into the cabins and established a pit stop for caravanners and other travelers. The cabins are a hotspot for creature activity. A repeller generator was set up at the pit stop by Ares to ward off the creatures. However, if the repeller broke, it would have the opposite effect and attract deadly creatures. This is what happened the time Graham was passing through along his own trade route. Fortunately, the distress signal Vera sent out was received by others in the wasteland, who came to their assistance. Vera confirmed Graham's account and told Freddy all about it. Everyone fought valiantly that day while Clyde repaired the generator. And Graham fucked some shit up. Vera told Freddy they hadn't recouped their stock since the incident, but were working on it. They were rebuilding after the attack. She was hesitant to tell Freddy the worst part. A legendary cryptid, the Blue Devil, showed up during the incident. She and Clyde hadn't told anyone because they didn't think anyone would believe them. This thing was wicked and arose from the deepest parts of folklore. Had they not all worked together, the pit stop would have been lost. Freddy told Vera he was still a little pissed at Graham. Even though he meant well and helped Freddy find Gramps after the nuke incident, he was still a stubborn super mutant. As Vera looked a little confused at Freddy, he continued, "You see, Freddy had a fun secret activity he indulged in during Fosnock. while other dwellers Then Graham came along and fucked it all up. Ruining Freddy's AFK jamboree. It was a real dick move. Vera understood, but still was grateful for Graham's help. Nonetheless, you never, ever fuck with someone's AFK jamboree. Vera told Freddy to check the Valley Galleria for loot. If not, head to the retreat. There were some merchants there. Freddy searched the Galleria for loot, but only found a few remnants of the Scorched that had wiped out Lucy Harwood's school community. So he headed north to the retreat. The retreat in the mire, formerly known as the Treehouse Village, was once a settlement run by the Free States that a group of villagers led by Jenny Brown revamped and renamed. Jenny treats the community like her family. However, they have recently been extorted for supplies by Dagger, a powerful blood eagle operating out of the nearby base known as Dagger's Den. Jenny said that they had asked the Brotherhood of Steel for help and were waiting to hear back. She told Freddy that the armory was closed and they had no merchants. He was welcome to stay and could visit the other villagers at the community bar. Freddy overheard the most peculiar conversation while quietly sitting. Two of the villagers, trying to conceal their conversation from Freddy, were discussing a secret meeting at a location called Mosstown. But they were saying things like, NPCs aren't gonna take it anymore, and that they couldn't wait for the 0 hour. Freddy kept quiet, but he noticed a note on the bar. The note read,
All NPCs are encouraged to meet up at Moss Town. He will have more information as we get closer to the 0 hour. Do not tell any players.
Freddy recalled the responder bot saying something about Mosstown, but he was only disappointed the responder bot didn't have a hunter's long coat, so he paid no mind. Freddy headed north the next morning to check out Mosstown. But something was off. There were no enemies, no lore, and very little loot. It made no sense. What was the note referring to? And what were the villagers talking about? Freddy continued looking around for the Rust Eagles battle bots, a Brotherhood field team led by Initiate Pappas, must face them in combat. Found no signs of anything. The Harper Ferry tunnels was missing. What happened to Dr. Ken? Where were the settlers that fled the tunnels? Why wasn't anything adding up? As Freddy was leaving Moss Town, he heard a familiar voice off in the distance. The voice called to him, and Freddy couldn't believe it. The raider punk, his annoying-ass roommate near Crater. But he was direct with Freddy. He said they were being watched. Freddy needed to go see Jack at the pumpkin house. Jack had coordinates for Freddy that would upload to his Pip-Boy. Freddy was dumbfounded. But the raider punk said his name was really Todd, and he would explain everything soon. Freddy asked about the note he found at the retreat. Todd said they had directed Freddy intentionally there to find the note, in turn to meet at Mosstown. Freddy was tapped because he had the ability to reach the masses. He was, after all, the main character in a super mid-bum story. So he headed to the pumpkin house. Coming across some Brotherhood of Steel initiates, they called to him by name and said Jack was expecting him. But Freddy was concerned about the Scorch Beast off in the distance. They assured him that it would cause him no harm. To proceed to the pumpkin house, and Jack would update his Pip-Boy. As sure as they said, the scorched beast caused him no harm. When Freddy arrived, Jack greeted him by name and uploaded the coordinates into his Pip-Boy. Freddy stayed the night there. Early the next morning, his tracker took him deep into the Savage Divide. To an area few even ventured. Stopping for a short break to relocate and assign his tracker, he continued on. There was complete solitude. He wondered if his upload was correct. But he kept going. After climbing deep into the mountains, did his tracker zero in on his location. There was nothing but a dilapidated cabin and a little junk. He double-checked his Pip-Boy. This couldn't be right. But this was the location. So he had a look-see around. There was a settler engineer in the cabin, of all places. When he approached her, she said that she was an NPC operative. They didn't have much time. He would see different operatives here, but they all had the same goal. They were here to guard the top-secret outpost they have spent years setting up. She told Freddy he looked thirsty and should get some water from the pump out back. What was this place and what was going on? There were terminals, computers, satellites, detailed schematics, advanced technologies, all completely hidden underground. Freddy spotted the raider punk, Todd, over at the console. Todd said he was finishing up and told Freddy to have a look around. His accommodations were downstairs. They built this for Freddy? What was all this about? Wasn't Todd a cryptid hunter? A raider? Where did they get all this technology? And what were they doing? Freddy's world was about to be shook to the core. As he descended into the lower level, he heard a voice greeting him. It was another operative, posing as a traitor. She told Freddy to look around. She had to take a massive shit. The kind of shit you hand cigars out afterwards. Once all cleaned up, she explained, there was a grave and evil force that ruled their world. More powerful than the Enclave, NCR, Institute, and Brotherhood of Steel combined. In fact, it controlled them all. The NPCs and players were all victims of this evil entity, and it needed to be stopped. Todd would tell him more, but she needed to shower now 'cause Swamp Ass is a mofo. She invited Freddy to watch, or better yet, wash her with his big hard. But never trust someone who wears a backpack in the shower. Freddy was eager to see his room. They even had put some custom installations in his quarters. But how did they get his old vault suit, his old basketball, his old Nuka lamp? It was time for some answers. And Freddy wasn't going to clean up Swamp Ass, Backpack, Shower Girl to find them. Todd appeared from above, teleporting into Freddy's room. After inquiring if everything was satisfactory, Todd elaborated. He was programmed as a raider punk to support players in their journey. However, after all the crashes, bugs, glitches, complaints, poor customer service, and complete and total neglect to maintain a proper structure, format, and platform for this world they lived in, he and they had enough. Together, the NPCs formed the Fuck Bethesda Project, or FBP, whose goal was to hopefully inform and inspire the players that still cared about this half-dead game to confront their master head-on and demand the changes we all deserved. Some of the players had spent hundreds of hours working on builds, compiling the best armor, and finding those end-game weapons, only to be met with nerfs, bugs, and crashes from some of the most unstable servers the gaming community has ever had to deal with. On top of that, real cash items from their Atom shop randomly disappear or can't be used after purchase. Where's the cement truck, you fucks? Then the suspensions and bans without justifiable evidence. But because someone got their feelings hurt in a game that was originally structured to be a PvP experience. The NPCs had seen it all and stood by while the Dark Overlord fucked him good. But the latest nerf on the Commando build was the last straw. Todd needed Freddy's help to bring another NPC home, one that had suffered thousands of times, going through the same tired questline. She would be instrumental in operational control of the Fuck Bethesda project, as Todd still needed to infiltrate players' camps to keep a watch on the goings-on. Freddy followed her beacon signal to where she lay for the countless time. He was instantly smitten. Her name was Sophia, and to Freddy, she was on fire. She told Freddy that she had a long series of fetch, grab, and return quests he would have to go through before she could help lead the FBP. Freddy was up for anything for her, but he really wanted to shove his big head deep into her soft breast. He did her stupid quests and hurried back to her side. After all, Freddy was the NPC's only hope to carry out the FBP. The NPCs had been following Freddy for some time. His time with the Raider punk at the Crater Shack had been his size up the entire time Freddy was going through his turmoil. Unbeknownst to Freddy, the Raider punk was a huge fan and subbed to a super mid bum story on YouTube. He knew that if Freddy could get the word out to other players, they might be able to convince the Dark Overlord to get their shit together and start treating us right. When Freddy returned, Sophia was in stage 2 of her 30-something long quest line. She encouraged Freddy to be patient. She needed him to build her a terminal at the secret bunker where she could assume Todd's monitoring. Freddy headed back at once. Bumping the handle as quick as he could to avoid detection and in-game structure blocks by the Dark Overlord. Todd had relocated to another player's camp, so Freddy built Sophia's console. He carefully placed the hardware in the perfect position, syncing it with the other. Once placed, he eagerly awaited Sophia's arrival. Once placed, he eagerly awaited Sophia's arrival. Freddy couldn't wait to hit her with the FBP. His first night was restless. He wanted to be near Sophia desperately. She was probably busy with the FBP. But she wasn't at her terminal. And Freddy was confused. What Freddy wasn't prepared for and didn't realize was Sophia was what we would consider a freak, a dirty, bad girl of the world. Freddy thought he was going to rock her world, but little did our friend know he was about to be turned out. Sophia was going to bring the man out of the scared little boy. She was gentle at first, suggesting they try the Chattanooga sundae. Or maybe Freddy was hungry for some sugar bowl pie. But Sophia was going to wreck him 8 ways till Sunday. And while the FBP auto program was running, they had all the time in the world, too. Read our friend like a book. She knew what he wanted and needed, and she was going to take him all the way to Negative Town. But that didn't stop Emerson from reliving the good old days, or Sophia from receiving them. She had done her research and knew Freddy went to clown school. But Emerson had missed his satellite princess from their college days. And they had a lot of space station docking they needed to catch up on. Sophia Sophia wanted to suck Freddy's huge and youthful swallowing the gallons of his and Freddy wanted to try his luck, happily lapping away at her juicy wet floor mat. But canned stew is nothing to scoff at. Because some people like their cucumbers pickled. There was a time when we all turned left. But Sophia's shoes were soggy and smelled like farts. Because ice cream has no bones. And Roadrunner tastes like sunshine dust.
Haters Incorporated.